So to let go of emotions, we have to be willing to be aware of where they were sourced at. Where did the emotional reaction begin? Where did it begin? So look back in your life and you'll become aware of them. And again, all you need to do to let them go is just become aware of the fact that it is no longer where you're at now. That's all emotional release is. It's just an awareness that where you were at when you had that emotion and where you're at now are two different places. And that who you were when you had that emotion and who you are now when you're having it are two different people. And you have to let the person die that had the emotion so that you don't keep bringing that person back into life with that emotional reaction. It's a way to keep something alive that you weren't at peace with, that you didn't feel was right, that you're holding a judgment over, that you feel that you should be apologized for. All these needs do nothing but stagnate your healing process. The most important thing to do to accelerate your healing process is let it go. And the best part is you don't really need anyone to do that. You let it go. I've had many people come in to see me that were having specific issues within a marriage. And the person would come in to see me and they would say, I'm having this really difficult emotional issue with my husband. He's being this way or he's being that way. And we have worked through the energy with them, okay? And they've gone home and literally come in on their next visit or called me and said, I went home and my husband was a completely different person. I went home completely ready to tell him what we talked about, to explain to him that things needed to change, to be completely open and honest with him. I let go of all that emotion I had about my relationship with my first husband or my father. I was really ready to be exactly, and I went home and he was completely different and I never had to do it. Has that happened before? And the answer is yes, a lot. Resolution within one brings resolution on all levels. So be conscious of the fact that emotional resolution or release isn't something you just do for you. Everyone is better when you release it, even if they don't seem better. Change and resolution is good for everything. It eliminates stagnancy. Stagnancy leads to disease. So movement and change is good. What is life doing to help bring these emotions out? Okay? So now I want to look at now I want to kind of segue from that, and I want you to understand the purpose of your life experience in terms of helping you let go of emotions. Life knows what's best for you, and life is inherently and innately doing what it needs to do to bring these emotions out of you so you can let them go. Now, we can make that difficult when we're living in an egocentric space, that we look at life as doing something to us, and we just continue to be upset with it. So we use our life experiences when we're not moving into a place of enlightenment consciously as a reason to be upset with the life experiences for making us upset. The basis of the practice is that life is good. Life is doing things to heal us, to evolve us, to help us become more enlightened. It's a good thing. We're in a loving relationship with this field, even though we don't understand what it's doing. It's doing good. It's allowing life to exist. There's order in it. It's got to have a purpose and a function. Now I want you to take a breath and realize that the life events that life brings into your experience are meant to bring up the emotions that you need to let go of. So every emotion that Carla was brought to experience because of those things she went through with the water and the plumbing, they were the exact emotions that she needed to go through and let go of to be healed. All that situation that happened to her was a healing. It wasn't a tragedy. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't somebody who didn't do what they were supposed to do. It was a gift. It was a gift. And all the emotions it brought up in her were making her aware of all the things in her life that she isn't quite at peace with. And that she needs to be at peace with. Because the character of events that have happened to you are going to happen how many times down the road? Again and again and again and again and again. They will be a problem until they are a problem no more. But what makes it a problem isn't the fact that it happens. What makes it a problem is that you see it as a problem and you react to it as a problem and you have a problem with it, and a big problem with that is that you begin to have a lot of emotions around it. When you strip the emotional reaction out of the situation, okay, everything becomes much smaller. The exaggeration that emotions bring to things makes them bigger, which means it makes them bigger to get over, bigger to let go of. Oh, I'm never going to be able to let go of the death of my husband. I'm never going to get over it. I miss him so much. You know, okay, you can miss him so much, but, you know, how long does it do you a whole lot of good to miss him so much? He's gone. You're here. He's in another place. You're in this place. How long does it serve you to keep having that emotional reaction over the fact that he's not here? I know, and I know that some of you may be, yeah, but we're human. No, you're not. Who called us human? We did. Who called you a man and you a woman? We did. Who put all these names on all these things and is completely convinced that they are exactly what they're supposed to be called? We did. Why have we done that? Because we have an exaggerated sense of importance in the world. So we want to name, we want to label, we want to decide what's right or wrong. We, I. And we really don't have any clue whether any of that is valid, appropriate, true. We're making a lot of assumptions. A lot of assumptions. Now, in the quick review, the practice is based on us accepting that this whole experience is beyond our comprehension. And we're practicing living in a way that helps us get along with an experience that is beyond our comprehension and eternal in nature. Just reminding us of the footnote there. Does it help you along in that process to continue to rely on how you've labeled things, what you're calling things, what you are, I'm human, you're this, I'm a man, you're a woman? It doesn't do any good. It continues to breed the possibility for conflict and separation. So it's okay that we have names for things, but let's not believe that those names are actually right. I always define the word God is the source and force of all creation. We are God in a form. That's as good as it gets, everybody. And even the word form, I don't know if it's appropriate, but I'm using it because it's as vague as I can get for what we all walk around in. Some kind of form. This has form. That's just the word. Form might not even be the right word, but we're using it for example's sake. So my point in telling you all this is that we make these assumptions about a lot of things. We make these assumptions about how we're supposed to feel, how we're supposed to react, that we have the right to be angry because someone did this, that we have the right to be fearful, that we give ourselves this right to have all these emotional reactions. And we really don't have any idea what they're really doing. And that's what I was trying to explain to you last time about how they're affecting our body. Do you really have the right to make yourself sick with emotion when you being sick with emotion affects everybody in your life? Do you really have the right to continually be angry about something without practicing looking at why you're angry at it, when you being angry affects everybody in your life? Everybody in the world to some degree. It's a group effect. But being that we've called ourselves humans, and being that we've decided that we are justified in having all these emotions, and in many cases, and this is all about a level of consciousness, many humans have decided they're justified in having them until someone says they're sorry. Or someone says, I want forgiveness. These are conditions that, quite frankly, continue to stagnate the resolution of this energy in the field of life and stop us from going into a higher level of consciousness where, quite frankly, this doesn't matter. Let it resolve because it's over. If the moment's over, big blinking sign, it's over. Let it be over. What the practice does is it makes you go back into the past, in utero, past life stuff, and it helps you become aware of that. Because we all have this closet full of old emotional reactions that we believed were right. It's kind of like, you buy all these pieces for this yard equipment, okay? And all of a sudden you get a new piece of yard equipment that you don't need the old yard equipment anymore. So you're stuck with all these old things that you really invested a lot in, and you really think, well, I went through a lot of suffering to get these things, and I hate to get rid of them, So you try to find somebody who wants them, and nobody wants your old emotions. No one really cares. They're all like, oh boy, here she comes, Here she is having the emotional garage sale again, hoping that she can, free anger, free disappointment, who wants to hear it? Everyone's like, pass. I got enough of my own. So what do you do with it? You got to go back to your closet and you got to go, all right, I guess I really did, I really felt that because I didn't understand. I really felt that because I thought it was really true. I really felt that because I thought I was justified. And I wasn't, and it isn't. And that's called bringing enlightenment to an unconscious space. You just look back at it, and after a while, sometimes you have to cry. Sometimes you have to have an emotional release to go through it. But a lot of times, towards the end, you just start laughing at, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's where I was. And as you do that, that person that you're dragging along through the field of life that's constantly bringing you into these, it dies. It dies. And you get to the point where you don't have emotional triggers anymore. Then, all you're experiencing is what you're experiencing. But you want to keep the house clean after you clean it up, right? So that's why I did the blinking sign over thing. So that when you're having an experience with somebody, and you have that experience, and it's over, you go, it's over. It wasn't, well, I don't know about that Michael guy. We're gonna have to talk about what he said to me next time. That was totally inappropriate. I just can't believe he did that. It's no, Michael was Michael, I was me, went the way it went, move on. You didn't have a conversation with Michael to make you feel good. Michael was being Michael, you were being you. It isn't about feeling good. It's about whatever it was supposed to bring up in you, you need to let it go. Whatever you were at peace with, you're at peace with. Whatever is whatever is whatever. It's just an observation. Every experience is just giving you an observation of what are you at peace with, what are you not at peace with, what are you at peace with, what are you not at peace with. It isn't about resolving it with Michael. It's about being resolved when you walk away from Michael that it's all good. Whatever it was. You said what you needed to say, or you didn't, and you learned, and the next time you'll say what you need to say, or you won't, and you'll learn again. This is repetition, everybody. If you look at how fast life evolves, it evolves over long periods of time. It requires lots of repetition. The good news is that after you start to practice and practice and practice, more and more situations happen, and you walk away going, oh, that was nice. And the other person's walking away going, so fun. And you're just like, well, okay. I was in a space of peace and centeredness, and that really ticked them off. That's okay. That's okay. I'm really happy and joyous over speaking my truth, and they don't ever want to talk to me again. And that's okay. My intention was pure. I wasn't coming from a space of ego. I was practicing my breathing. That's okay. So this is about getting to the place where you're keeping your house clean. You're having an experience, you're letting it go. You're having an experience, you're letting it go. And what happens, and what's so amazing about the practice in this way is that when you begin living that way, you never develop a past life issue again. Because remember, past life energy, which now that we're done, don't have to call it past life energy exists because something happened that you weren't resolved with. You weren't able to say that was okay. So you're carrying that energy with you until you can resolve it. So we want to resolve all our old energy, all our old self. We want to be done with that old person who was what? Was King Louis V or whatever he was, a peasant or who cares. We want to get rid of that energy, and then going forward, we want to stay in a space of resolve, so that we never develop past life energy, and everything that we're experiencing, we can be cognizant that we're experiencing because it's going on right now. It isn't the past. And we don't have any clue what the future is going to be, so we're okay with that. What I have found is since I have resolved a great majority of my past, I'm relatively speaking unreactive. Because I know in this moment that everything's okay. So I'm having an experience in the context of everything's okay.